Perfect.
Recording.
So to start off, we're just going to do a few activities that Olivia very kindly made for us tonight just to get to know our members. So just before we get into it, you will be required to write on the screen and if you know what the annotate feature is on Zoom, we'll be doing that. If you don't know what it is, at the top of your screen, there's a green tab and it says options. And when you click on that, you will be able to find annotate. So in annotate mode, it's the fifth option that appears when you press on this green tab that says options. And it will have a number of different tools. You'll be able to use the mouse over, you'll be able to type in, use stamps, draw, etc. There are a lot of different options. And so now that hopefully everyone knows how to use annotate, we'll get into our next activity that Olivia will lead. There you go. Someone's figured it out. I see someone's name. But yes, if you have any questions, feel free. We're good to go with annotate? It looks like it so far. People are drawing. Good. Okay, perfect. If anyone has any questions, feel free to interrupt. But other than that, Olivia will move us through with our activity.
Yeah. That's okay, Justin. Sorry about that. If you would like to type in your answers, if you would, as a way of participating, that's also great too. And for everyone else who might be who are unable to annotate, my apologies. Please feel free to type or unmute yourself if you'd like to add your thoughts. Pretty much this is just kind of like quick polls, just to get a sense of who's in the room and get to know a little generally who each other are. I know there's quite a few of us. So the first one is, are you a new member or a returning member? Feel free to stamp, write, draw, smiley faces, hearts, to which side you fall under. And as I guess new members joining here in the 2022 year. Yeah, seeing a lot of new members. So happy for you guys to join us. I do recognize some old familiar names, and I want to welcome you all back. Thank you for continuing to join us, and we're really excited to have you, and I look forward to all the cool things we get to do this year. Yay! Okay, so I will clear this and then we can go to the next one. So we have quite a few new members joining us today, which is really exciting. Oh, you can go to the next slide, Megan. Just another question. So do you have any classes on campus this year? I know there are some courses that are just strictly online, some are in person and online, some are a few possibly could be all in person, depending on how small the classes are. It also gives us a sense of how we go about our programming this year. I know we'll try to always make sure that we have accessible formats to our events if we're holding things on in person, try to also have some components that are also online as well. For sure. Yeah, so everyone has a little bit of a hybrid. I'm gonna stamp because me too. Ooh.
I'm very jealous of the one person who has no classes on campus. I don't know who you are, but I'm very jealous.
It's definitely getting some used to still doing like the some in person, some online. I don't know if anyone else has been like struggling.
Oh, graduate school. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, we'll go on to the next one. Thanks everyone for able to sharing. So this one's like a free write one. You're able to draw it, use the text function. What's an imaginary class you wish that was offered at U of T? Think coral horticulture 101, seahorse writing 205, Pokemon physiology 301. I don't know. What's a cool course you wish you would have here at U of T?
I just know Pokemon physiology would be a very small seminar with a very large wait list.
Ooh, Hunger Games Political Discourse 101.
Oh,
That
squirrel
would be so
domestication is
cool.
killing me.
Squirrel domestication, dream analysis discussion, pigeon history, introductory carbon farming. Ooh, that's very interesting. Oh, I haven't been looking at the chat. I really should be.
Whoever is interested in dream analysis, personality psychology actually goes over this. It's a whole unit and it's really cool.
The physics of Marvel movies. Oh, I would love that. I know I had a friend at Humber College, as part of his one of his electives for his engineering course was the science of superheroes. Um, yeah, where they try to see how how it could be somewhat possible for superheroes to have the powers that they do have. Don't know much more other than that, but I would definitely. That sounds really cool. Tree
Uh,
communication.
Leave
Aw,
someone in the chat saying Hunger Games political discourse. That would be cool.
that cool. That would be like, yeah, that would be really cool discussions. Gardening 101, mushrooms, 100%. Forestry 305 is basically tree communication. Oh, good to know. Sustainability, business, and management. Bird journal course, without the prereqs. Yes. Mixology, origin of dragons in mythology. That'd be really cool. Becoming flexible and getting the splits 101. Me too. The amount of. Yeah, I wish I had more flexibility. That's for sure. Give it like 10 more seconds. I know there's some person still writing.
Applied
Apply.
to Imagine Dragons. I like that. Science being
Ticklish.
I heard it's like a threat reactions.
I would definitely take a course about it.
Great.
Silent meditation. Yes, I think we all need a course that just like let's sit and let's meditate and learn how to meditate effectively.
We need an effective napping course. I think that everyone should have to take that in university.
Yeah.
How are we typing? I think when you go to annotate and if you press text, you can type your answers. It should
Yeah.
be one of the options.
Okay, I think we can hit the next slide. It's the last one. I promise.
All right.
It's another free write. One thing that you're hopeful when it comes to the environment. I know like a lot of like studying and reading the news and all these things can get really doom and gloomy. So it's always nice to think about some things that we're hopeful for. Um, and as we all have like this shared hope for a better world.
That one's sweet. I like that one. Gen Z is a good answer. I am also hopeful for Gen Z. I am Gen Z, Melody. I'm like 1 year older than you.
Oh, yes, bring back extinct rhinos, and especially like definitely the ones that are also the last species that are very endangered. I agree. Electric vehicle adoption looks more and more inevitable. Just how fast will it be? Very true. Bernie Sanders, more efficient public transportation, cool architecture. I have to give it to you, Segi, for your um your determination and your patience for writing it out. Thank you. Um, yeah, kudos to you. Focus in research and development. All these really cool things to be hopeful for. Phasing
Basically,
away packaging. Oh, sorry. What were we gonna say?
I was just reading the same thing.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. Sorry. I've been like stealing your thunder, Megan.
No, were you kidding? I'm stealing yours. I was gonna say, I think we're already in the works of doing that in Canada, which is exciting.
Yeah. I know. For all like it makes me upset sometimes when when I can't bring like my water bottle to like a Tim Hortons and ask them to fill it up. I mean, I totally get it with health and safety and stuff like that. I'm thinking about all the coffee cups I've used in this past year.
Oh, I feel you. I was happy I saw the alley has reusable bubble tea containers now.
Ooh.
So I was just ecstatic. So now I'm not going anywhere else.
Cool. Good to know. No greenwashing. Origami solar panels or something. That'd be really cool. And yeah, greenwashing is a huge thing. It can get really frustrating at times. Starbucks also had your bring your own cup day recently. Ooh, cool.
Should be every day. Bernie
Okay.
Sanders. Yes,
Um,
Bernie Sanders. All right. Oh,
thanks
we've got
everyone for sharing your thoughts, and it was great to see all of the different responses.
perfect. Thanks, everyone. Now we're going to go into some exciting UTEA related stuff. So I know you all joined here because you know who we are and what we do. And those of you who are on our exec team already know who we are and what we do. So we're going to go over it again just because, it's a welcome. So who are we at UTEA? Essentially, we're a group of students at the University of Toronto, specifically the St. George campus, and we're concerned with the state of the environment and the way that it's being abused by literally everyone. And it's detrimenting other species, future generations, Indigenous peoples. So we're worried. So, what do we do about it? UTEA raises awareness about pressing environmental issues. As mentioned before, it could be Indigenous water rights, it could be sustainable energy, it could be climate change. We are limitless in what we are concerned with. It's really whatever is pressing, whatever needs attention, we are there. And we advocate for more effective government policies to address this issue at all three levels, so the federal, the provincial, and the municipal levels. And we also advocate for sustainable campus policies at the University of Toronto, which we will discuss later in our different teams, which one addresses which issues. UTEA is unique in that it's a hub for innovative and interdisciplinary environmental research and sustainability advocacy solutions. So what this means is that we're not limited to environmental science students. We're not limited to people who are studying anything related to the environment. We're really for anyone who's interested in making a difference, and we're not really limited in terms of what our scope is based on topic, as long as it relates to activism and advocacy. All right, so how are we structured? This is probably the most interesting part for our general members because this is kind of an idea of each of our teams and what exactly they do. So we are a growing group of executive members. Olivia and myself oversee the activities of the group, but we like to leave freedom and leadership to our exec members and the specific teams to do really what they please to do with their role. Um, so we do have many different teams. We have advocacy, outreach, communications, and marketing, and this includes our webmaster. There's finance teams, and our newest additions that will be coming are our first and second year representatives. In addition, for those of you who have been with us previously, pre-COVID, we were in person, but we are on Discord now for communication purposes because our messenger was not really working out and our email chain list was not also working out. So it's more of an effective way to talk with all of you and to get faster responses than through email. And we will send out links later for anyone who has not joined our Discord at this point in time, not to worry. All right, let's move on. We'll go into more details about the rules shortly, so not to worry. Oh my goodness. Okay, Olivia, do you want to talk about this stuff over here?
Yeah. So, yeah, just examples of the things that we used to, our past activities. So as Megan said, that we're kind of divided between like outreach and advocacy roles, where our outreach is more about the kind of news sharing, liaising with different groups, hosting events that are kind of related to that. Advocacy is usually the more outward action within the group, so they usually have like different events that usually have some kind of theme or action behind it. So example of our past activities, our last year's external advocacy team did a how-to workshop series. So they took different topics and it was kind of like a toolkit for individual action, such as how to be an ethical and sustainable consumer. We also had our internal advocacy. They did a migrant rights panel in collaboration with VUSAC, which is the Vic Sustainability Commission at Victoria College. We also have our Watering the Grassroots conference. It's one of the biggest events our external outreach team did last year. I don't know, Melody, if you wanted to give a couple thoughts of what Watering the Grassroots is.
Yeah, sure. Oh my God. I love this event. So basically, it was like this national online Zoom conference with a focus on like targeting grassroots organizations and like youth activists and basically like, okay, we all care about this sort of thing. Like, how can we make our work more effective and like learn more? It was basically like we invited a bunch of speakers and had a bunch of workshops over 3 days, and we covered like a wide variety of topics about like policy, land acknowledgements, organizing your volunteering base, advertising, etc. It was very, very informational, super awesome. We're hoping to make this an annual event, although the form may change year by year depending on like what the club and the people working on it envision. So yeah, it was like very, very fun, a lot of work, but very fulfilling. That's my spiel.
Oh, thanks, Melody. Yeah, very exciting. We're actually holding meetings now to organize this year's Watering the Grassroots. So please look forward to that. We will definitely need a lot of help with organizing. So if that's something you're interested in, reach out to Melody because yeah, we'll definitely need the help. Then yeah, we have other activities, monthly discussion clubs, policy research, different, I guess, advocacy reports, letter writing to MPs and other members of government, attending UTEA's environmental working group meetings. Weekly petition Mondays these are just some of the different types of events that we've held in the past and hope to hold other future events and are always open to different event ideas for sure. Okay, we go to the next slide. And yeah, so now it's just a time to quickly introduce our exec team. I know there's a few of us. here today. So thanks to the team for coming out. So we'll get started to the first group, which is Megan and I, the co-presidents. As we said before, we just kind of oversee kind of all the overarching happenings at UTEA, doing a lot of the admin work, and just just I don't know, Megan, how you would put it. You say it usually better than I do.
No, I would say that we work with each of the teams separately. Olivia and I are both split down the middle in terms of which teams we work with. Olivia has taken the outreach roles, and she's also taken the first and second year reps in the finance team. And this year I'm with communications and marketing, webmaster, and the advocacy roles. And what we really do is that we meet with each of the teams. We trained everyone so far, and we work to see whether we can provide ideas, support, and where help needs to be. It's more of a guiding role. It's leaving like a free. It's open to what each of the members interpret their position as and what they want to do in their position, given the guidelines of what everyone does. But Olivia and I really are just there to make suggestions, help where possible, and kind of direct the teams and where past teams have gone with in terms of what they've done in the roles. I guess it's a very odd position to explain, but it's overarching, just making sure that everyone's okay, everyone's on track, and seeing what needs to be done in terms of admin. Olivia, feel free to add in if I've missed anything.
Oh no, that's what I said. You definitely said it really well. Thanks, Megan. And then we'll go to our next team.
What's our next team?
Okay. Comms and marketing and our webmaster team. I believe we have Isabel here. I don't know if you're able to share a little bit.
Yeah, hi, I'm Isabel. I'm one of the communications and marketing co-directors. So basically what we do is we just, answer all messages to the to our emails, to our DMs, and then we also research and post weekly posts to our social media, so like infographics and things like that. Yeah.
And Isabel, do you want to talk about, if you have this planned out with Kendra? Kendra is the other communications and marketing co-director, where you might need some help from general members, because our comms team has our comms strategy sub-team, which is where general members might be able to take part and help out our comms directors and give their own input.
Yeah. So right now we have 2 general members. I think they're here right now, Ria and Chris. But basically we recruit general members, and what they would do is they would help us with our research each week. So each week, Kendra and I will choose a research topic with some research questions, and we would ask general members in our sub team to help us do research and share ideas with us, just so that we can make our weekly posts. So if any of you are like open to joining our sub team, feel free to message me either on Discord or over on Facebook, and I'd be able to respond to you and join you into the team.
Thanks so much, Isabel. I just want to add also, as we go through our teams, within the next week, we'll have our executive teams put a little blurb in the Discord, and for our general members, whoever is interested in joining that sub-team would be able to react and join. But I also want to mention, not all of our teams may have these sub-teams. It really depends which teams need help and where there's room for you all to join in and give your input, give your feedback, give your ideas. So just a FYI before we continue with that. Thank you so much, Isabel. I'll also just briefly discuss the role of the webmaster. I don't think our webmaster Dave is here today. The webmaster works on maintaining UTEA's website. It's really updating with collaborations that we do, putting contact information, updating links to where you can find, for example, Olivia or myself or different teams. And that's really the role of the webmaster. They don't typically take on any general members, however, because it really is a one-person job. It's quite limited in the different requirements for the webmaster. And so we do have our comm strategy sub-team, but not necessarily the webmaster. But if Dave does have any open roles, I am sure he will post them in the coming week when we have everyone share information about their team and where you can help out. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Isabel. Let's move on. Our finance team. I think we have both of our finance co-directors here, but both of you are not required to speak if you choose not to.
I can speak.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, my name is Madeline. I'll be one of the co-directors of finance along with Suk for this year. As co-director of finance, our role is basically to acquire funds for UTEA, be it like internally or through sponsors. We basically manage the budget as well to ensure that the money going in and out of the club is accurate. So yeah, I guess that's about it. And a little bit about me, I'm a second year at Rotman. I'm studying accounting and econ.
Thanks so much, Madeline.
No worries.
Perfect. All right. So we're going to move on to our next team and read that as external advocacy. I think we have Angel here, if I'm not mistaken. Angel, are you around? Okay, she might be elsewhere, but I think she's in the chat, but I can go over external advocacy. And if Angel, you come back by any chance, feel free to pitch in if you so wish. External advocacy is actually one of our teams that does recruit general members for help. What they focus on, we mentioned previously that there are two areas in which our advocacy teams and outreach teams focus. There's beyond the university scope and within the university scope. So external advocacy is beyond the university scope. So they focus on activism and advocacy events, whether they be online or in person, that extend beyond this scope. It might be environmental issues within Canada at the provincial level, at the municipal level. It's whatever people are interested in. And we do have a few external advocacy events coming up as well. And they may need some assistance on planning events, gauging interests, ideas from general members. They also work to write a report at the end of the year, and this is like a professional report. We do end up publishing it to our website. We're hopefully going to try to get it published on other means, like a journal, potentially the varsity, who knows. But they do, I believe, need general members as well to help with their research, possibly to help discuss ideas if they haven't chosen a topic for this paper, which is more or less like a thesis. And that's overall, I believe, what external advocacy does. I hope I didn't miss anything, Olivia. Feel free to pitch in if I haven't covered it all. I think that's all.
Yeah, did a very good job.
Thank you.
Nothing else to add.
All right, and they are one of the teams that most likely will be needing general members along with internal advocacy, which we will get to. But yes, that's external advocacy. And external outreach, we have Melody here.
Hello. Okay, external outreach. So I'm one of the external outreach directors this year. I'm going to my third year. I'm in my third year now. Wow, time flies. The other external outreach director is Emery. I don't think she's here today though. Yeah, so basically external outreach, the external part means it's outside the university. Outreach, you can basically translate to networking, news, and collaborations, pretty much, right? So, for example, we're often very engaged with like keeping up with the news, like the sort of scope and like the landscape of like climate activism outside the university. So this can be in Toronto, in the province, or nationwide. And oftentimes we're plugged into like some international news as well, like just like the international landscape and like the momentum of like the climate movement as a whole. This is done with the help of CANRAC, which is Climate Action Network, which is a super awesome like coalition of like climate and environment organizations in Canada. It's kind of like the Canada subset of like the international version of the Climate Action Network. There are meetings bi-weekly on Mondays, which we go to, and then everyone there is like super smart. So it's like a really ultra cool lecture, and then they like tell you a bunch of cool things that are happening and like discuss a lot of interesting things, and you just like sit there and listen. And you're like, wow, adults are so smart, you know? And then, yeah, it has like a lot of cool organizations that you might recognize that are like part of it, like, you know, like Greenpeace, like David Suzuki Network, like Seth Klein, that guy who wrote the book like before, and then like the like was environmental defense, etc. Right? So yeah, so that's where we spend a lot of our time. The they have an email list. So we have an external outreach email that we always monitor for like things that we think we can take on as a club. So when we see something where like this looks like something we have the capacity for, or something that other people might be interested in, or we find news, then we'll post it to the Discord, or we'll message the like relevant people and be like, do you want to take this on as a project? Just like kind of listening to like the landscape of like what's going on. And then in terms of like collaborations and networking, basically like knowing a lot of like knowing different groups, like knowing who's doing what, like do we want to get involved in something? If so, like this is the person we should talk to then. And collaborating, like with the Watering the Grassroots conference that we mentioned earlier, we collaborated with QBAC, which is a club at Queen's University. And we've also collaborated with U Windsor on a similar conference. Not really collaborate, like we like helped out, not in the same to the same depth as with QBAC, but yeah. So yes, those are the sorts of things that we'll be looking forward to doing this year as well.
That was amazing, Melody. Thank you so much. That was the best description of external outreach anyone could have possibly given. But you are the pro. You've been here for quite a while. All right. We're going to move on over to internal advocacy, who is not actually here tonight, but I have a message from them that I'm going to read out. So, before we go into their message, I just want to go over what internal advocacy does. It is essentially external advocacy, but now the scope moves within the university. So they focus on, for example, divestment from certain things within the university, working on changing university policies, collaborating with groups within the university. So we have a variety of environmental groups that we work with. Internal outreach works with them as well. But they are groups that you may meet at the EWG that Melody mentioned, the environmental working group. I think you mentioned that. Maybe. No, I think that was Olivia that mentioned it, my bad. But yes, and so they also write a report at the end of the year. They are looking for general members to participate. And I will read exactly what Lauren said. One of our co-directors had a specific message that she wanted to pass on, because unfortunately she is unable to make it here today. So let's go right to what Lauren said. So she says, our general members will be able to help us research, brainstorm, and create 2 UTEA internal advocacy reports by the end of the school year. The general themes we have in mind for both reports cover the differences between U of T colleges and faculties with respect to environmental action, as well as an analysis of U of T's environmental impact. We are eager to work with you on the report, hear your ideas, and collaborate with you on internal advocacy events later in the year. That's from Lauren. She's one of our co-directors, and she works with Sarah, the other co-director for internal advocacy. And this message will also be posted into our Discord for those of you who are already there later on this week, so that you may react if you choose to work with internal advocacy this year. All right, we're going to keep going to internal outreach. Elizabeth, would you like to talk about internal outreach?
Sorry, my internet's not doing great today, so I'm going to have to keep my video off. But hi, my name's Elizabeth. I'm one of the internal outreach co-directors, and basically what we do is that we plan social and environmental advocacy events for the club within the university scope. And like a lot of the other groups, we also collaborate with other clubs in the university. So and another thing that we do is that we go to monthly environmental working group monthly meetings to see what other organizations and clubs are doing, and there we can look to see if there's any groups that we're interested in collaborating with or participating in their events with them. So we will be looking for general members to help out with planning events if you're interested. So if you have any ideas or you'd like to participate in carrying out the events, I would love to hear your ideas. Something that's coming up really soon is the Halloween event, so you can look forward to that.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. And I believe that's all for our executive team. Thank you everyone so much for sharing about your positions. And for people who would like to have general members, they will be posting within the next week. And for those of you who are interested in participating, which you don't have to participate in a team, you may also just attend the events and engage in discussion. But for those of you who would like to help out with one of the teams, we ask that you only request to join one team at a time just so that there's enough space for everybody. Unless, of course, there's not enough people, then you're welcome to join more than one. But also just please react to the messages as you see them come in, and we'll sort you into different sub-channels of our Discord to work with your assigned teams. On a separate note to general membership, our executive team is pretty cool, and we're looking for 5 people actually to join our executive team. Just exciting because you're all here, interested people in UTEA who might want to get CCR recognition and do something pretty great. Not that our general members don't, but this is a more direct leadership role. So we have many available positions. We have 2 positions for our first year representatives. These are for people in their first year. What you typically do, you can find more information as well on the link that is provided there. And it's also posted to our Facebook, our Instagram. Yes, I believe that's it. And maybe it's on the website as well. I'm not sure if that's updated yet. But yeah, so our first year representatives and our second year representatives are essentially the same role. They do choose the team to shadow within UTEA. It's most typically one of the advocacy or outreach teams. And you may also jump between teams. You don't have to stay with that one team that you choose to shadow at the beginning of the year. In the past, our first year reps have also, in addition to shadowing one of the teams and helping out where needed, they've held events of their own. They've done their own events and research on topics and presented it to the group. And that's another option. But we do have 2 positions for each one. So one for first years, one for second years. And for all of you interested, the deadline is coming up. It's October 8th. But we hope you can, if you're interested, to put in an application, and interviews will be held the following week. In addition to our first and second year reps, we do have an internal outreach co-director position available. So as Elizabeth so nicely explained the role of internal outreach earlier, and there is a bit more information in the link if you've forgotten or want to look in more. And that will also be due October 8th, and we'll be hosting interviews the following week and get a response before the CCR deadline is due October 24th. So you all will be eligible if you choose to join our team. And if you have any questions about any of these positions, feel free to email Olivia or myself at our UTEA email account. Our email is provided on our Facebook, on our Instagram, and it's also on our website. You may also reach out through Facebook or Instagram if you have questions, and that will be redirected to Olivia or myself where we can answer you. Olivia, do you want to talk about our external advocacy sub-team meeting and internal advocacy documentary watching party?
Sorry, I realized I was muted. Yeah, so Angel did a great promo for it in the chat. Thank you, Angel. Yeah, they're gonna be hosting kind of like a sub-team meeting at the Vic Quad this Friday at noon. Yeah, for all general members who would be interested in working with external advocacy and their events, they're just holding an introduction session where they'll just go over the different types of events happening this year, how to get involved, what cool, fun things to expect. I don't know, Angel, if you want to add more things that that you'll be talking about. I'm sure you'll be adding, we'll be giving up updates, everyone updates on the Discord server as well. So it'll be in person meeting at the Vic College Quad, and of course, yeah, no worries, Angel, but it's all good. And as Angel said, there will be food. There will be food. Totally not the only reason why people go to in-person events. No, I mean, like, everyone, no, it's important. It's gonna be a fun team, but free food. That's the one thing I really like about what I miss about in-person events. Next is the internal advocacy documentary watching party. Internal advocacy have been meeting to discuss kind of like a nice kind of social kind of discussion. We'll be watching a documentary, There's Something in the Water. More details about that will be posted as they just kind of finalize the last little bits of the event and how to stream the movie. but yeah, we'll be letting you all know through the Discord and also our social medias. And yeah, this is our general member registration. I mean, you're all here, you're all members, which is great, but if you have any friends, have any people you think would like to be part of the team, we ask, yeah, please share. We would love to have as many people join us as possible, and everyone who wants to be part and learn more and kind of engage with us, we'd be happy to have them. So we have a QR code. We also have the Google Form link, which is also posted on our Instagram, Facebook, and our website. Yeah, exactly. Aggressively advertise. You have to do it. As much as as much as it can get quite annoying with all these different clubs throwing things at students, advertising, it works sometimes. But yeah, feel free to share the links among peers, and yeah, hopefully we can have some more new faces join us.
And also feel free to connect with us on social media. We do post a lot of updates there as well. Maybe Discord isn't really your thing. Event updates, applications, all of that will be on our Instagram and Facebook as well. And if you ever, it might be on our website. Our website's a little bit slow to update, but there's a chance it will be. But go first to Facebook or to Instagram. And if you have any questions at all about events, about participation, or just want to get in contact with someone, any member of our team, you can reach us through our email, which is the bottom right corner of the screen. Yes, I believe. Oh, here we are voting on the Constitution.
I know it's almost 9 and we would bring it to 9. That we would end this meeting at 9. So we might be going over about at least like 10 minutes. I'm very sorry. So if you have to leave now, I know it's been a busy time for everyone. Please feel free if you have to leave. If you are able to stay at least for the next 10 minutes, we would really appreciate if you would to have your input on our different constitutional changes, and as well as introduce the Constitution to members. I feel like that's something we haven't been doing in the past couple years, so just letting you know that we have this fancy document that exists. Before that, I just wanted to ask if anyone had any questions in general about how UTEA works, about the different teams, about different events, questions, comments, concerns. Yeah. Feel free to unmute yourself or raise your hand or type in the chat as well. Yeah, we have one from Anthony.
Is there a good place to find just like all the information about what external advocacy, internal outreach, internal outreach is? Because I know people just had amazing presentations on it, but it all flowed through my head too fast, and I'd love a place if I could just see where it all is. Is there a good resource for that?
Yeah, good question. So we do have, yeah, exactly. It's on the Discord. So I think if you go into, oh, it will be there soon. Oh,
okay, great.
Sorry, Melody. Yeah, we did have a place where it was a pinned message with all the teams. I'm not sure, maybe it got moved when we were trying to reorganize the Discord. But yeah, we'll definitely have that up. I know it can be really confusing and a lot of information because our team is so big. So I totally get it.
Great, that's awesome. I'll check it out on the Discord. Thank you.
Thanks for your question, Anthony. Anyone else with any questions, comments? Is everyone pretty excited, at least for this year? I know I'm pretty excited. I have a lot of cool things going on. Yeah. And we're really excited to hear more about the work that you're all doing and how we can also incorporate your knowledge and your experiences to our events, because I think that's one big strength that we have as an organization. If no one else has any other questions, I mean, feel free to always just ping us on Discord, send us an email, send us a DM. But without further ado, and I want to, oh, do we have a question? No? Okay. Yeah, before I hold you all here much longer than you all really need to be, we'll move on to the Constitution. So yeah, I will share my screen now. And I hope everyone can see this. Our lovely document, the Constitution of UTEA. Yeah, so this is pretty much just holds like how we structure our club and kind of like the guiding principles we have here. And we kind of already talked about like our mandate and our purpose, our membership. We have all our members here. Membership to UTEA is open and free to all University of Toronto students, faculty, alumni. There's no cost or a membership fee. U of T members are permitted to run, nominate, and vote in elections and constitutional amendments. We are also open to non-U of T members. We've had a couple of people from the community who wanted to be updated with our events and be involved, so we definitely welcome that as well. But yeah. And we went over our different roles and responsibilities of our executive members, and this is where we kind of come with the first kind of proposed changes. So in the past, we had only one kind of director for each different sub-role or sub-team. But as the organization grew, we found that having two directors for each executive team role was helpful and a bit more efficient. And so essentially we're just replacing the ones with twos and just making it official. Over here, we also did not include the second-year representative. That was actually a new role introduced last year, as we found that we had first-year representatives, and I think it was also good to also add second-year representatives as well. Yeah, always good to have extra students on board. 2 years ago. Oh, 2 years ago, there was a second-year representative. My bad, Megan.
I was the second-year representative. They made that role for me.
Oh, true. Okay, yeah. So that was also replaced from a 1 to a 2 as well. And webmaster, even though webmaster has been a role that has been around for a few years, I don't know why it hasn't been listed as part of like our official executive team. So that was something we also wanted to add. This one with financial co-directors, we just want to add co-directors because we now have 2 financial co-directors. And this is just we're going under more specific roles of each exec team member. This is just adding exactly the roles of the external advocacy directors. The only thing that we added was pretty much talking about the different projects and I guess going into more specifics of what each role does. Same with the external outreach director. One thing that we did want to add is that they are in charge of the biweekly meetings with CanRac and screening updates to share relevant news with the whole club in general, as well as to the comms and marketing to share on social media as well. Internal outreach, we added extra roles for them to do, including organizing and scheduling at least one internal outreach related event or a project, as well as adding them to social events. And then as well as making their attendance to monthly EWG meetings part of the role and responsibility, and as well as assisting co-presidents in overseeing general member registration, monitoring channels on UTEA's Discord server. I don't know if some of you might have gotten emails from Elizabeth giving you the Discord links and the overall welcome to the club. So Elizabeth helps us out with that and making sure that Discord channels are being monitored, answering questions as they come. And our comms and marketing directors, what we added here was to conduct research on the different environmental themes. So the comm strategy team, and adding that research on different topics and kind of doing like a knowledge translation, making it more understandable to the public. So that was something that actually Megan added last year, and definitely want to make it more of a permanent role for the comms and marketing directors from here on out. And so we also have our first year representatives, along with just shadowing kind of the exec team, as we mentioned earlier. Megan also mentioned that we expect them to hold at least one collaborative event. Can be with the second year reps, doesn't have to be, but definitely we know that like in the past, like I was a first year representative when I started here, and so same with Melody actually. We've been here for a long time. Pretty much they recognize that like even though we're in first year, may not know exactly just learning the ropes, but we recognize that we're all student leaders and definitely more than capable of hosting their own events and doing what interests them. So we want to make sure that they would be able to have that kind of agency in hosting events and holding initiatives that they would like to do. And the second year representatives, this was not an official role, so we added the actual official responsibilities for the second year representatives, which is essentially the similar ones to the first year representatives. Our next clause is going to the termination of executive or general members. Yeah, so essentially we want to make sure that this space here at UTEA is a space that all people are able to join and are able to learn, contribute, discuss freely without any judgment. So we want to make sure that any inappropriate behaviors that violate U of T student code of conduct and anything that is considered hurtful and hateful towards another person or group, that action will be taken and that that's not welcome here. So what we added, in addition to having kind of a meeting among the executive team to see whether any person, either be it a general or an executive member, and any actions that they've committed, and kind of what actions we will do to address that. We just wanted to be more specific in terms of what might constitute as a potential termination, not necessarily termination, maybe suspension, depending on the offense, and just kind of more specifying and being specific with it. Any harassment of any form, any discriminatory hateful actions in any form towards members, people in the community that we work with, are all up for review. I mean, I'm sure that all of you are very sweet, lovely people, so we haven't had any problems with this in the past. I highly doubt we will in the future, but it's always good to know, and if anyone sees anything, hears anything, just to let us know, because we will address them. And yeah, the last thing, I know, almost done, promise. The last thing we have is our elections. So what we wanted to change is that our general membership ends at the 30th of April every year. Our elected positions are the co-president positions. These will also be taking place kind of like before the end of the term. So in April, will be so general members who are U of T students are eligible to run in these elections as well as to vote in these elections. So that's something that we just wanted to change. We wanted to change paper ballot to just regular ballot because we find that we've been holding our elections online instead of in person, so we don't really need the use of paper ballots. So all of these things that has to do with like sealing things in envelopes, putting things in a box, counting them individually, is no longer kind of applicable to us now. So yeah. So terms of elective executive positions will be from May 1st to April 30th, and that's essentially April 30th also is the end for the rest of the exec team, as well as general member registration. So we always open it up again in the following month. Other than that, I think the last thing we change is executive and general meetings. So we have an AGM, one in the beginning of the semester, one in the beginning of the winter semester, and also at the end of the year. So we will be holding 3 of them throughout this entire year. And then with executive and general meetings, so we hold, Megan and I hold meetings with the executive team at least once every month. And with different exec teams, if they have a team of general members, if you're all planning an event such as Watering the Grassroots, executive team, our co-directors may be scheduling meetings with their respective teams as well. We hope to do that as well, but that's up to the discretion with the exec team. And I guess the last part is amendments. So any registered U of T member, any registered member of UTEA who is a U of T student is able to propose different amendments to the Constitution. They're also eligible to vote on these different amendments. So if there's ever anything you see in this Constitution that you would ever want to change in the future, something to add, something you don't agree with, you're welcome to propose changes and be bringing them up at meetings. Like we'll call a meeting with all general members. This has to be passed by 2/3 of majority at AGMs. And we will formally adopt these changes to the new Constitution. And we have to send our Constitution to Office of Student Life at ULife, the UTSU as well. Yes, Melody, you want to propose a tiny change?
Yeah, sorry, my internet is really bad. Sorry, can you scroll back up to the external outreach? I saw like a couple things that I was like, wait a minute, I completely overlooked before because they're just like really small.
And yes, no, of course. Outreach, external outreach, yes.
Yeah. The thing about like promoting like to campus radio and stuff. Because I was like, because it's campus, which is not external, so I was like, oh.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
I will.
Where's the other one? Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Melody. Oh, that's true. That was just a copy from Internal Outreach, which does with campus radio. But yeah, so that is the end of the Constitution and all the different proposed changes. Thank you, everyone who's still here and hearing me talk for the last like 15 minutes. So yeah, does anyone have any questions about the Constitution, any of the changes, anything that has been said? Thank you, Melody. I really appreciate it.
I think we're okay to hold our little poll.
Yeah, and then yeah, without further ado, everyone's able to vote. Megan will release the poll.
Yes. So as Olivia talked about, thank you also, Olivia, for going through all of that Constitution. We have proposed changes, and like she mentioned with the amendments, we do need to vote on them at an AGM. What perfect timing. We are all at an AGM right now going through the Constitution that needs to be changed. So if you would please respond to the poll that we're about to launch, we would really appreciate it, because we would like our co-directors to be legal and we don't want them to be exceeding our Constitution, what it requires. I think you can all see it. I just want to highlight, if you don't agree with one thing on the Constitution, even if it's just one, please vote no. Just waiting for 3 more people. Give it another 3-ish seconds. It might be AFK. I don't know.
Does that include me? Because I don't have a. Oh no, never mind.
I don't think so. No, I think the other 3 people might just be away. We will end the poll. Okay, yeah, we'll end the poll. Yay! Look, we're making these constitutions changes. Our co-directors are allowed. Wonderful. Thank you everyone so much for voting. I'm just going to save these results. Perfect. Hey. And I believe this actually wraps up our event, but I know that for anyone who wishes to stay or continue on, I know a lot of us have to hop off, but Olivia has this really fun game that she's been meaning to set up for a very long time. So if you'd like to stay and play this game, Olivia is very eager. She has brought it to, it is Survive the Century. She has brought it to our last meeting. She's bringing it here. She's going to play Survive the Century for anyone who would like to. Thank you all so much for attending, for everyone leaving. We really appreciate you being here. Yeah, Survive the Century with Olivia. And probably Melody. Melody was also equally as excited for this game as meeting.
I mean, we all have to play Survive the Century. If anyone just wants to sit, chat, and just chill, that's also cool too. Like, yeah, I'll be around, and I'll definitely need that study break just to see people other than my like textbook. Because I've been trapped up here for quite a long time. But yeah.
Or if our general members want to say hi, you know, I don't think you all had really time to introduce yourself.
I will stop the recording as well.